Evan Jones with you here on the RPAC Rundown Podcast. We have another great episode lined up. We will visit with Clay Shepard, head coach of the Cambridge boys basketball team, as we will talk about his squad, and also we'll talk about Thanksgiving since it's the week of Thanksgiving. As always, check us out on social media and on rpacrundown.com. Of course, the RPAC Rundown Podcast is brought to you by a bunch of great sponsors like Arapahoe Rehab and Fitness, Cambridge Supermarket, Webb's Oilfield Service, Cambridge Rehab and Fitness, Onyx Native, and C+. We will take a break. You're listening to the RPAC Rundown Podcast. Now joining us on the RPAC Rundown Podcast is Clay Shepard, head coach of the Cambridge boys basketball team. Well, Coach, let's talk about how things are going early on for your team. Initial practices, how have things been going for your squad?
Yeah, it's been going really well. We had our parent meeting toward the end of last week, and I was just like knocking on wood, telling them how well it was going. So nothing's really changed. We had a scrimmage Friday night, which was great. Kind of get in front of some fans, get some of those nerves out. But just it's been kind of a seamless transition from the summer. Obviously I took the fall off, but just kind of rolled right into practice and feel really good about how things are going.
Good. Yeah. Now your team returns a lot of solid pieces. Brady Allmeyer, great shooter. Hodge Rayburn's played a lot of club ball and AAU ball and has gotten better. Maverick Webb, Creighton Ruggles, and others. How do you see those guys stepping up with some of the key departures you had last year? First one that comes to mind is Carson Tromke and his scoring, but how do you see those guys kind of fill some new roles?
Yeah, they have big shoes to fill. We lost our 3 leading scorers and 3 leading rebounders. They've all been really good role players the last 2 years. But now they're kind of stepping into the star role. And I don't think any, one of them is going to replace Carson. He was a pretty special talent, but I think just by committee, those 4 are going to be really, really solid for us. They're going to play a ton of minutes for us. And just, some games, one of them will score a bunch, another game, the other one, another one will. I think all 4 of them will probably lead us in scoring at some point this year. And then, we just need the other pieces to come along and kind of move into those role player roles now, which is, how a good program should do it is your stars move on, you get new stars, and then you have new role players. And, we hope we're trending toward becoming a pretty good program, and this year will be a big test of that.
Now, in the middle, you mentioned a couple of other guys that, had graduated. Didn't say their names necessarily, but Brody Wood, Ben Hoberty, big guys in the middle who, like you said, rebounded and scored. How are you guys planning to adapt? Do you have someone who's going to fill that role? Are you going to be kind of guard heavy, or is it just kind of a wait and see how things go early on?
Yeah, we're in kind of an interesting spot because those 4 guys that we just talked about, who are back, who've played a lot, are all guards, all 6 foot or under. Hodge and Creighton are right around 6 foot, but, we're trying to replace a 6'5" center and a 6'4" 4-man. Rebounding has obviously been a big thing all the way through the summer and then into practice here. The guy who's going to start tomorrow night is Braxton Mitchell, who is another guard. So we'll pretty much be 5 out, 5 guards, just trying to make sure everyone can handle the ball, everyone can make plays on offense. But then our next 4 guys who are going to, play quite a bit for us are all post players. So it's going to be kind of mix and match in lineups and going from 5 out to also we got 2 posts on the floor, and we're going to play a different style when those, different guys come in. It's going to be kind of unique, but, hopefully, with different games, with different matchups, depending on what other teams do well, we're hoping we can kind of match that or, throw something at them that can give them problems. But it's a unique lineup for sure. Coach Wood's JV team is just going to be all huge guys, and that's going to be fun for him. That's kind of what he likes. So they're going to have a ton of fun down there. But we're excited for some of those guys to move into varsity roles as well.
Yeah, let's talk shot clock. It's obviously a hot topic for some people. I'm a big fan of it being in the inception. I think it's going to be great for high school hoops for the most part. Let's talk about it for you as a coach, though. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And why or why not?
Yeah, as a coach, I love it. We played in 2 tournaments or 2 team camps this summer. One at Grand Island Central Catholic, and then actually over at Southwest after they had theirs up. And it just cleans up the end of the game. Games, quite frankly, were pretty boring. We were a big part of making games boring. Is for some reason last year we had the lead going into the 4th quarter of a lot of games, and because Carson was an 80% free throw shooter, Brady was a 75% free throw shooter. We were one of those teams who, if we got to the fourth quarter and we had the lead, we just held the ball. And, you were going to have to foul us. There was going to be 8 possessions the whole fourth quarter. And so it cleans up the end of the game. As a team who benefited from that last year, that's, a little bit too bad. But it's more fun when we're playing basketball and, you still have to go score. I also think it rewards good defense. There were a couple possessions just as I was kind of trying to figure out how much this is going to affect us or not, where I went back and watched games and, we defended really well for 45 seconds. And, at 48 seconds in the possession, they got a wide open layup. And it's like, well, yeah, if you ask someone to defend for eternity, they're going to mess up at some point. And so it's good that there's kind of a limit on that now. Coach Wood and I have actually both played with a shot clock. So, we feel like we're kind of, well suited to guide these guys through this kind of adjustment here.
Now, is there any drills specifically you're doing in practice? Because I know there's some coaches I visited with, they're doing things where they'll just put 20 on the shot clock and you get in a pick and roll situation with 7 or 8 on the shot clock and you kind of got to make something happen. Is there anything you guys are doing in practice to kind of adjust to it?
Not necessarily that. We're using it all the time. I mean, you got to get used to the kids thinking about it constantly. And if it's not running up there, they aren't thinking about it. So, we're just using it, whether it's shell drill or if we're 5-on-5, even if we're, just working set plays, we'll make sure it's running just so they have that kind of in their vision and they're seeing it how it's going to be in the game. But we haven't necessarily done any, late clock stuff. We've talked a little bit about, late game scenarios where, we don't even think about anything until there's 20 on the shot clock. And then we start, running our offense to score instead of just running our offense. One thing that I remember from college that my coach did that I thought was really smart was, you never started at 35 because by the time you cross half court, you're never going to have 35 seconds. And so we're running our offense in the half court with 30 seconds on the shot clock, kind of assuming, hey, it's going to take us 5 to get it across. We aren't going to have 35, so we got to make sure we're getting the hustle on a little bit more. So that's been, I don't know, just kind of one of those things where I played with it and, I'm a little more familiar with it. And, it's just something that we're doing that we think is working really well.
Now you have a jamboree game on Tuesday evening against Perkins County, and then you start off with Hitchcock County, who's going to be solid in the West, and then you get Dundee County, Stratton the next night. How do you view these first 3 games, one being, an exhibition type of style, but they're all good teams. How is that maybe going to suit you guys well early in the season, maybe get a little battle tested?
Yeah, if we could just hit Chase County, we'd just go our way through the counties over there. But no, it's a huge stretch here. It's Perkins County is going to be an awesome jamboree for us. They're going to do some things that a lot of teams that we play won't be able to do just from an athleticism standpoint. They were 19-7 last year, district finalist in Class C2. So that's going to be a big test for us. Just a great way to get things exposed that we can't get exposed in practice because we're practicing against ourselves and we all know the plays and those type of things. But then rolling into that first weekend, us in Hitchcock County have, kind of played some really good games to start the season the last, 3-4 years. And so it's just a great way to start the season. We know it's going to be a competitive game. We know it's going to be an up-tempo game, a physical game. And then, now with the schedule change for us going, the next night out to Binkelman is, as big a test as we're going to have all year. I'm sure they'll be rated in the top 10. They never really, rebuild. They pretty much, Kirchhoff's gone. Well, guess what? They have a freshman who looks just like him. So, they're going to be a huge test. And, 2 RPAC teams, 2 teams who are in our sub-district. So it's kind of funny that, you have 2 games right away at the start of the season that could have huge impacts on the seeding, at the end of the season. And, kind of reminding the boys of that during practice, like, hey guys, it's the first game. Yeah, we got to, work some stuff out, but we also need to be ready to go because these games have huge implications for, February even.
Yeah, when those sub-district assignments came out for you guys, was there anything shocking about it for you, Coach, or was that kind of what you expected it to look like?
No, that was pretty much what we expected. Just, if you look at a map, it just makes a ton of sense. I mean, we're all kind of in this bottom corner. I thought Arapahoe could kind of, go east or west. We only had 4 in our sub last year, so it made sense that they threw a 5th one in there this year with, Maywood, Dundee, Arapahoe. Hitchcock and us. But it's just a fun sub-district, teams we know really well, teams, everyone except Dundee County came to our summer league this summer. We've played each other a ton, play football against these guys. Just makes for really, really competitive games at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, it's Thanksgiving week, so we'll do something kind of fun here, Coach Shepard. We'll do a this or that for Thanksgiving. So you'll just tell me, I'll give you two choices. If you don't like either one of the foods, it's fine. Because there's someone here I was like, I don't know how I feel about them myself personally, but they were Thanksgiving staples per se.
Gotcha.
So we'll get started. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ham or turkey?
Oh, definitely ham. It's one of those deals where I'll probably eat the same thing for like 3 days in a row. So I'll probably throw some turkey in there, but definitely ham.
Yeah, I love this time of the year because I went to the supermarket in town and the hams are on sale, and we had ham all last week. So I love it. I love it. So, all right, Mashed potatoes or stuffing?
Ooh, I'm going mashed potatoes.
Yep, good choice. Mac and cheese or creamed corn?
I'll go mac and cheese.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. Green bean casserole or sweet potatoes?
Oh, got to go sweet potatoes. If you throw some marshmallows on top and, get that all mixed in, I love sweet potatoes. I will say, you said green bean casserole. We had our staff Thanksgiving at Cambridge last week, and they made the green beans with bacon in them, like Arkansas green beans. And if it was that or sweet potatoes, I would have, those would be number 1 and 2 on my list. So I'd have a tough time with that.
Yeah, my wife is notorious. She'll ask before we head to any Thanksgiving, like, who's bringing green bean casserole? Because if no one signed up, I'm making it because it needs to be there.
Nice. So, yeah, it is. It's a staple. That one definitely fits in the staple category.
Yeah, you bet. All right, now a dessert here. Pumpkin pie or pecan pie?
Oh, pumpkin pie. I would eat pumpkin pie. I have for the last month every day, but I would eat it 365 days a year. I think that needs to not just be a Thanksgiving thing.
And I saw this thing one time where someone on social media was like, well, if Thanksgiving food was so good, why wouldn't we have it all year? And it's like, I understand your sentiment, but Thanksgiving food is so good.
Yeah. It definitely is. Yeah.
So this one's not a this or that, but just something fun maybe that you guys do as a family for a tradition. What's one of your favorite Thanksgiving traditions?
My family loves Black Friday shopping, and it's kind of transformed over the last couple of years, but we used to always, we do our family Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving, and then we kind of all do our nap, and then we'd all at least find someone else to go with, and we'd pick a store and we'd go camp out, and we'd go, right away, bright and early or dark and early on Black Friday morning. I've gotten a gun safe from that. Just so many clothes that I've probably never worn after that day, and just a lot of good memories doing Black Friday shopping at all hours of the night.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck as you get going this season. Have a happy Thanksgiving, okay?
For sure. Thanks, Evan.
That will do it for this week's episode of the RPAC Rundown Podcast. Of course, we have great sponsors of the podcast like JBK Operating LLC, Scouts Recreation, First Central Bank, Cross Diamond Cattle Company, and Prairie Girl Candle Company. Big thanks to Clay Shepard, head coach of the Cambridge boys basketball team, for joining us this week. Of course, winter sports are going to be starting up very soon. Our preview magazine is going to be on shelves very soon also. And of course, be on the lookout for postseason honors for the fall sports season. It's going to be getting very busy very soon. We're really excited about it. Hey, thanks for tuning in and have a happy Thanksgiving.